Welcome to the SMW podcast. This is where warriors share their stories and their knowledge on the art of Steel Mace training. This month's podcast sponsor is White Lion Athletics. We'd like to thank you for providing our listeners better listening experience. To check out White Lion Athletics, go to www.whitelionathletics.com. What's up, Steel Mace Warriors? Coach Victoria Islas, and today I have a guest that's been with me before. Okay, she was on a podcast. Actually, I had to go through my YouTube video playlist because I was like, when did I have her on? And this was September 24th of 2019. So that was quite a bit ago. That was a while ago. So welcome back, Brandee Owens, also known as Steel Mace Valkyrie. Welcome.
Welcome her. Thank you for having me. I actually went back and listened to that podcast this morning. So just even looking behind me, things have sure changed.
You know, I should have done that, but I'm fucking terrible at listening to my own podcast. I'm not gonna lie. I'm so terrible at that. But yeah, welcome back. I'm so happy you're with us again.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to see you. I feel like I could talk to you like once a week and we'd catch up on something. We could do like a little live, warrior and Valkyrie
like a Instagram live or something.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Hell yeah, that'd be really dope. So before we get started, I wanted to mention this month's sponsor, White Lion Athletics, and on Instagram it's white_lions_athletics. So I'm assuming they don't have the actual fucking Instagram name, but we are going to do a contest where we're going to pretty much give out challenges on each podcast. So if you want to enter, you have to listen to the podcast, obviously, to find out what the challenge is. And then you would tag White Lion Athletics and Steel Mace Warrior. Obviously film yourself doing it and then tag us so that we can check it out. And so I'll go through kind of like the prizes. So first place will get a 10-pound White Lion Athletics Steel Mace, along with my Steel Mace program for complete beginners. Wow. Yes, it's called the Matrix. And this one's actually like a beginner flow program, 4 weeks long. So it's pretty cool. That came out this year. Now, the second and third place winners are going to get a Steel Mace Warrior t-shirt, the one that says Warrior, just like this one. Oh. Okay. And then you guys get the 30 Days of Steel Mace program. That was a program that I made like 2 years ago. I think it's an older one, but it still kicks ass. So those are the prices, and the challenges are actually going to be made by me and the guests. So we'll go over that maybe 5 minutes from now. Right.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. So now that that's over, God, that felt like forever. Let's recap, Brandee. So you were with me in obviously, like if people want to listen to your entire story, they can go back and maybe we can challenge them to do that. If they want to go back and listen to your entire story, go back to that September 24th video or podcast. It's everywhere. But I want to just kind of recap on it. So kind of like a summary of like, how did you get the mace in your hands? Because I think everyone wants to know that for new listeners and someone who hasn't listened.
It's always an interesting story for anybody. Right?
Yeah.
No matter if it's their first time or their 100th. I was training at a gym I live in Regina. I was training at a gym here for a Spartan race, and my coach at the time, Zach Yannick, Rankin Legs, was doing some cool stuff with this company called Agatsu, and he went off and got trained in Steel Mace. And I was like, what the hell is this? And he came back, and it was just given to my training partner and I as like maybe a grip strength, intro. Here, try this, just walk, squat, whatever. And I was just hooked, and the rest is history. It's actually, this past weekend was 3 years since I got my first certification from Agatsu Fitness in Toronto. And that's thanks to, Zach put that in my hands, and I went from there, and the rest is kind of my history.
Yeah, there you go. That was easy. So Agatsu is kind of like, how would you explain that? Like they're kind of like on it. They're kind of like Onnit, but like in Canada, right? Like they kind of teach Mace certifications and stuff like that.
Yeah, they not only teach certifications, they're freaking incredible people. Sean
Okay.
and Sarah are like circus performers, crazy stunts with each other. Sean just started a new like little Instagram / I don't know, Twitter or sorry, TikTok page where he's like showing people how to for self-defense and just like piss your pants funny. This guy's so funny, but they're so talented. The stuff that you learn from them goes so far beyond just Steel Mace. So I learned the Indian clubs and the Steel Mace.
Right on.
And then just recently recertified with them in October. Coach Patrick came down from Montreal to my studio and we recertified like 3 members of Zach's training team at Warrior Flow, and then myself and 2 of my students became certified. So there's like
so
10 or 12 or 15 people in Regina now that are like legit certified to teach the Steel Mace. So it's
okay. Well, that's cool to know. I don't know why I haven't reached out to anyone and I got to. I probably should do that.
Oh yeah, you should.
Yeah.
From mobility to it's crazy. The knowledge is unbelievable. They travel the world learning from the best, like Bali, etc. Right? So
crazy.
And they've had a million coaches that are like top notch. So a wealth of knowledge.
I'm gonna keep my eyes open on that one. I definitely want to have someone from there. So I think that the number one question I have for you is like, obviously with COVID, I wanted to see how you were doing, you know, like, and keeping it positive, obviously. But like, how have things changed for you and how have they evolved with all this crazy shit going on with COVID?
A year ago today, I left for Mexico and got back a week from now. And plane landed was like the last plane into our city. So shit hit the fan that day, but it's been awesome. Like it has forced me to, our last conversation, you had asked me, do you offer online? No, not into that. It just wasn't in my wheelhouse. And now I was forced to. Yeah. And now I've connected with people, you know, from Ohio, New Jersey. I've got Joelle Sushi, who's becoming certified in Steel Mace floats soon. She's going to train or coach, what's that called? Test out with Jamie Pinto, Alchemist. So she's crushing it. And then I got a couple other around Canada. And then I had a dude from Juarez, Mexico message me the other day. So it's like, oh my God, this is growing. And then from then I was like, nutrition. I need to coach some nutrition. So during COVID, got my nutrition coaching certification and have 20 of my, I only offer it to my students, but 20 of the 40 are taking that. So I'll able to maybe one day just retire and teach a few people on the beach and have some nutrition students all over the world and go from there.
Will that be Jamaica? Is that what I saw? Is that what I saw like from 2 years ago? I thought that was actually like recent. And I was like, oh my God, is she over there right now? And I'm like bothering her with a podcast. But then I looked and I was like, oh no, this was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, dope.
Yeah, no, yeah. And actually I was there and they offered me, if you'd ever teach while you're here, we'll give you a discount on your vacation. So I'm like, shit. Oh, I'd teach an hour boot camp. I mean, I'm not going to haul a mace for everybody, but we could do a body weight on the beach or something. Hell yeah.
That's so cool. Right on. Yeah. So, okay. So things actually turned out good for you.
Things are awesome.
Right?
Yeah. Everybody's been really healthy. We're limited capacity wise to a certain amount of people where mine really, it didn't affect me at all. I took one member out. Everything is kind of squared off, as you can see. So there's 6 or 8 squares for us. Sanitize when you come in. Everybody's always washed their own equipment down at the end. Anybody that's not comfortable, it's offered online. So at the same time as we're doing our class, they're live online with us.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's awesome.
I like that. I like that setup. And I mentioned that you have shields back there since we're talking about all of this stuff. And I kept seeing that stuff pop up on Instagram. I just like, you explained it to me and now I get it. But do you kind of want to talk about that a little bit? Let people know what your wall is all about?
Yeah, this was a brainstorm like a year in the making here. But again, COVID pushed me to be creative. So I have like a nice saying kind of written on there that I created, and then some little shields that a local company created for me that just kind of stick on the wall. You can write the student's name in there, and they've completed 100 classes. So it can be any of my weapons classes. So kettlebell, steel mace, the Veerstall, which is kettlebell, steel mace, and some heavy clubs in there. So if you're coming 3 times a week, it'll take you till at least fall to get your name on there. And then once you get your name on there, you get to pick a shield of your own and take it home.
So you got to work for it. You got to work your ass off.
That's right. And holy shit, people are competitive. They're booking doubles and they're just like razzing on each other, like, oh, I got to 3 classes this week. You've got to.
Oh my goodness.
It's
that's
good.
So
it's a little
good.
competition, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's healthy motivation, I feel.
It is.
And then those shields at the bottom are actual, like, are they made out of wood or?
Yes. Yeah, they're legit. They're actually, I think, the bottom of, like, big spools, like electrical cable would run around. Like they look like thin, yeah. So a local guy in Regina made them for me at a heck of a deal. So I'm gonna just keep supporting him and go from there.
A heck of a deal. You had to add that in.
Dash's Dungeon Dragon.
Right on. Okay, so this is kind of like a question that I've been like dumping on coaches, especially with like the new setup. Like, obviously I'm keeping the podcast shorter too, at like 30 minutes now, like, or 35 max, because I want to make an actual like ebook out of it and give it out for free at some point, So, and it's hard to try and like break that down, the transcript, if it's like freaking hours and hours long. So the shorter, the better. But so a question that I'm asking coaches is like, what do you think that you've gotten better at over the years? And then what do you think you're still struggling with when it comes to Steel Mace training?
I have got way better at creating flows for my students. I struggled immensely with that to the point of like, I hated it. And then I was forced to do it because I had nobody else to do it for me anymore. Not that anybody was doing it for me, but if I was taking classes from my coach, I would just do the flow he was teaching, right? So then I was pushed into this story here and I love it now. I'm getting so good at it. Last week I taught a flow and my students were just like, how do you even just come up with this?
Well, you know what? I love how, like, okay, so that was part of the reason why I wanted to do these questions, because I wanted honesty to come out for this, especially with coaches, because I think people think coaches are like perfect and we know everything and that we don't struggle with things and stuff like that. So it's really cool to say I struggled with putting together flows for a really long freaking time. So thank you for being honest about that, because I mean, I struggle too all the fucking time. So that's really cool to be able to understand each other.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I can pick up any weight, not any weight, but up to 15 kgs of mace and swing it and be confident with it. But teaching a flow, it's showing this is me. And it's just like, this is out on the dance floor for you to pick up. And my students crush it, or sometimes I'll teach it wrong and they'll be like, no, it's this way. Oh, shit.
You're like, my bad.
I got you. Shall I move over? Yeah, no, and they're doing great. And then sometimes we'll do, like Friday is our flow day. So we teach 12:15 and 5:30 flow. And some days I'll just go around to all 7 of them, give me a move, write it down. I pretend I'm left-handed, but give me a move, write it down. And then I'll just take 5 minutes, string it together into a flow that they've created, but I've, pushed it together, and really they love to do that. Yeah. We've only have, like, I probably only have maybe 7 flows that I remember. I've started to actually start writing them down and naming them so we can go back and redo them. But I just pick a move. I'm like, we haven't done hangman in a while, so let's do hangman. Okay, into this, boom, done.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. Once
that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, oh God, yeah. I mean, I've struggled with flow for so long. I still don't feel very confident in it. I'm really grateful that at least like the first level of Steel Mace flow, like they give you a couple flows, and then like I've been practicing those like for a while, to be honest. But I saw one of your flows where you kind of like wrap the mace around you, and I'm like, how the fuck do you think that's so fucking cool? Like you did this like thing, like You just kind of
Oh,
spun
the other
it
day.
looks, yeah.
Even my husband's like, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like Harley Quinn with my bat or something, right?
Yeah. That stood out to me. I was like, that looks fucking cool. Was that one that you came up with?
Yeah, just Wednesdays is usually my day that I have the morning off, so I'll just put on some music, create the flow for Friday, and then I have a couple days to kind of practice teaching myself, right? And just every new week I try and come up with something new, but I will run you through that flow anytime.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So you've gotten better at that, but you struggled with that for a long time. Is there anything you're struggling with now, though?
You know what makes me feel better? When I stay off Instagram.
I swear to God, I just wrote a blog article about that. And I was like, I'd rather just stay off of Instagram from time to time.
I feel good about myself at the end of the day when my students walk out, like they just fucking love to be here. So then I feel good. But then I hop online and I see another flow that's like way fancier than what I'm doing. And I kind of come down a couple notches. And that's not that person, that's me. That's all on me. That's my own thing. So I just find like tap, tap and keep going. Tap, tap, keep going, right? Because I support everything you're doing, but I need to be confident in myself as a coach. I've got 40 some people underneath me that, rely on that leadership. So, and then the next day I can be confident and look online and be like, holy shit, Adam or Leo or whoever has something really cool that I'm like, that's really dope, man. I want to learn that, right? But you gotta just do you.
Yeah. No, I totally. I get it. I get it. Yeah. There's days where
I can't do half the shit these women can do. So I just work in my wheelhouse.
I think my thing has always been lateral lunges. I just have never felt so comfortable with that. Obviously, it comes down to the hips. I've never felt very comfortable with it. And I'm like naturally short. And I don't know if I've told you this before, but yeah, I feel naturally like I'm short. So I look different than the tall girls.
I didn't realize that you're short. What's your height?
5'2".
Oh shit, really?
I'm like tiny. Yeah. I remember going to a workshop, Kip's one with Tyler Valencia. And he was like, holy shit, you are shorter than I thought you were. And I was like, for real? Like, you know what?
I thought like 5'5".
You know what it was? For the longest time, I used a 7-pound mace. So the 7-pound maces are a little shorter. And so when I first started, that's what I used. So I think when he saw me and then he saw the size of the mace, it makes sense. You're a short person. I'm like, yes, I am. Yeah. I guess people expect me to be tall, but I'm not. So I always see the tall girls and I'm like, God, they have these beautiful long legs. And then here I am, I'm a Latina. So I got hips, I got, big thighs. I was like, I don't look like that,
Strong thighs. What's your favorite move with the mace? Besides a 360.
Besides the 360?
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say lateral lunges. I would say lateral lunges just because I struggled with them for a long time. I'm getting down to like, okay, I'm loving them. Like I'm actually loving doing the lateral lunges. And I know there's different ways. Now I'm like looking into like Viking Ninja too. And I look at their lateral lunges and I'm like, God, there's variation on these things,
Thursday night, we took, like kind of that inner lateral lunge, right? Like how Ninja does it.
It was hard. It was
we're so pissed off at it. I got hate emails for the next 3 days. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm like, oh, guy, obviously we got to do those more.
Yeah.
Thank you, Isak.
Exactly. Like, I think I got used to doing them the SMF way for so long that I'm like, I see, and I got into it because of Aaron. And so I was like, I'm going to start doing those like Steel Mace yoga, Viking Ninja lateral lunges. And it's so, I know she does. Big shout out to her, but I don't know. I found it so difficult going from the SMF way to like the Viking Ninja way.
Oh man, totally different spot. Like I taught a stretch class that night, and then the next morning they come to flow and they're like, "Whoa, I'm feeling spots that I never knew existed." It's like,
yeah. So it's cool. It's cool to keep an open mind with the variations and stuff like that, because I know there's some hardcore people that are like, no, it should be done this way. And then there's like people that are, no, it should be done this way. So I like both. I like both.
Me too.
Yeah.
E6 aunt actually lives in my city And she actually is a pod partner to one of my students, or was. So one of my students that's been coming for 2 years, who just lost 33 pounds. Shout out.
Congrats.
Was like, hey, I've been doing this mace thing. And I think her name's Debbie, was like, oh, my nephew Eric does that in Texas, and this is him. And I was like, that's ASIC. Get her here, right? So she's, now COVID came and put a damper on that, but she's going to start, I'm going to get her to an intro and then tag Eric, and it's going to be crazy.
Wow, what a coincidence. Like,
right?
Wow.
Small world. He's like, you better take care of her. I'm like, just get her in here. I promise I will take care of her.
That is so cool. Well, good for you. That's fucking awesome. Right? That's cool. Super awesome. Okay, so let's talk about that Steel Mace challenge, because I'm pretty sure by this point people are like,
come on,
what's the fucking challenge?
They keep forwarding.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. And I'm not gonna put like the little timer. You know how they have like the little time and then you can skip through it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that for them. They're gonna have to listen. Okay, so we came up with this before. So what is the challenge, Brandee? What did we come up with?
We came up with 50 switch squat swings, right? So that bottom hand, you swing, the bottom hand catches your mace, you squat, stand, that bottom hand becomes your top swing. Bottom hand catches, 50 of those babies, as heavy as you want.
Yep.
Safety first.
There you go. So 50 reps, right?
50 reps, yep.
I think 50 is good. I think 50. And obviously, I think if they film it, they're going to have to like make it go super fast. Kind of like how I did it with the fucking challenge you gave me. I was like, oh, let me just tell you about that. So the challenge you gave me was do 100 reps. So I'm setting up my camera, and I'm like super OCD with it. So I set up my camera and I'm like, I'm going to do my 100 reps. I'm like counting them supposedly in my head correctly. I get done. I get like my setup goes down. I get inside, I go on my video editor, and I'm like counting them. I'm like, cool. And I'm like, what the fuck? I only did like 17, like, cause I was doing 20, 20, 20, 20. And then my last round was gonna be 10, 10, right? And I fucked it up, and I was like, fuck. I was like, I gotta go back outside, set up my camera, redo.
Cause you know someone's gonna count.
Yeah. No, and I was like, I gotta give you 100. So I was like, I can't do this. I have to go back, and plus I'm not really good at cheating. So I'm a terrible liar. So I went back out there, I did it. And then I did 50 extra reps for Mr. Mace Man.
You earned it, girl. In that pink top, I'm with you on. I love Rick, and I will wear anything to support him. But I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna make a black and white one.
When Rick was like, "Hey, give me your address. I'm gonna send you the T-shirt." I'm like, "Super, right on." I'm waiting for it. I got it in the mail. I'm like, "Oh, it's pink. It's fucking pink." I have such a hard time with pink, but I did it anyways because I love Rick.
If I looked good in pink, I'd rock it. I don't. Yeah. I look like something's wrong. You're not supposed to be wearing that color. Why don't you wear mustard?
Be honest with me. How the fuck did I look with pink? Because I'm pretty sure.
Well, the way you muted that color, like.
Did you see that?
I like that shade.
Did you see how I used a filter and I muted that stuff? I was like, yeah, this is gonna get muted on Instagram. Oh, like I left it alone on Facebook, but.
Yeah.
No.
We love you, Rick.
We love you, Rick. We love you. We're talking about the color pink, not your awesome T-shirt.
Let's make it. I'll make a shirt you and I will design, and we'll send it to him.
Yes, in black.
In black and red and blue or something. Yeah. Black on black on black.
Oh my God. Okay, so do you have any new maces? I think this is a cool question. Have you added anything to the Valkyrie arsenal back there?
Have you seen my fillable sword and my sweet ass? I think you could see my sword right under the mirror there. Let me just grab it.
Sort of. Oh my goodness. You know what? I did see the sword, but it was a while ago and I had forgotten about it. Oh my goodness.
Badass, right?
Wow. How much does that weigh?
Oh shit. It's 15 pounds, but it's loadable. So you just take the end off, and tears of your enemy or teeth of your enemies or whatever.
Wow.
Whatever it is you're putting in there. Yeah, and then I got like a Valkyrie's battle axe, and my students bought me this super cool. Let me just turn this cabinet, and I have like
dope. Okay.
freaking horns and a whole bunch of cool stuff in there. So yeah, it's like a little
Wow.
museum in here now. It
There's
was
a
quite big.
museum.
Everybody walks in. Oh, I love this place.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you did get some new stuff. That sword kind of just does it for me. Like that's magnificent.
Yeah. You got to be careful. The 10 and 2s, like the guy that sent it to me is like, you need to be careful, Dr. Jim. You need to be careful. That hilt's going to get you in the head. I'm like, Valkyrie. 3 swings in, smash my head.
Oh,
right?
no.
Right. So he's like, I told you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obviously right because it's not the shape of a mace. It's like it's a fucking sword. So
you got to hold that thing exactly the way it is. There's no room for rotation, right?
Oh.
You have to come swing it. One day, my students and I are going to go to Arizona and rent a house with a pool and do like.
Ooh. Yes.
You'll have to come meet us.
Yes, absolutely. I'm down. I'm completely down. Okay, so I guess we'll end this with a little something because I made this month, again, by complete coincidence. I do not plan this shit, right? Today I had no idea it was the International Women's Day. And I decided that March was a very feminine freaking month. So since last month, I was like, I'm going to get nothing but chicks and we're going to fucking rock it out and we're going to make it a Steel Mace Women's Month, you know? So when I saw that it was the Women's International Day today and I had you on, I was like, this was fucking like meant to be. Like, this is so freaking perfect. Like, I didn't plan it whatsoever. So I want to go out with, something related to that. So as a woman, empowering other women, what type of, words of encouragement can you give them when they're starting Steel Mace training, or maybe they've been swinging for a while? Just, I guess, words of encouragement for them if they're listening.
Just keep going. So many of my students at those first weeks or months, their swings, you compare yourself right away to that lady next to you or to the one that's been swinging, or they're like, it looks so easy, it's so hard. Keep going, because that next swing could be that perfect swing when you just let go and find your flow, even with the swing, that nice up and down. It could just be one more swing. Never give up, and don't be scared to try new things. And if you have the lady balls to pick up a mace in the first place,
right on. Okay. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I think the 360 is one of those movements that everyone feels really uncomfortable with, I think, at the beginning, or very intimidated by it. And then they go on Instagram and they compare themselves and they're like, I don't look like that. And then some maybe might feel discouraged. So I'm really glad that just keep going. Those are your words.
Keep going. Stop comparing and reach out for support. Or if you have a question about a swing, I'm a professional, I guess.
There you go. Hit up Brandee, hit up Steel Mace Valkyrie, so let's get there. Where can people find you online?
Instagram, Steel Mace Valkyrie is the best way to contact me. Of course, I have my Facebook page, Steel Mace Valkyrie, and ironically, Steel Mace Valkyrie on YouTube.
There you go.
I think that you are incredible for putting together a program. That's something I might like to look into one day, and would love your support on that, because you crush that, girl.
I mean, when it comes down to it, I have imposter syndrome. So I'm always like releasing these things, and I'm like, I know other people probably see and they're like, you're doing great. And I'm over here like, it's okay. But I would like to see more women in the Mace community come out with their own programs, because I'm a big supporter. I'd love to purchase whatever comes out from you guys, do it.
And we can learn something new from every one of us. Or sometimes I'm like, I don't have like the right to be putting that out there, or what do I know? It's like, I know a hell of a lot, and I've spent a lot of money learning it, and I've been swinging a mace for 3 years, and every day I learn something new that I can pass on to the next
Yeah.
warrior woman, right?
I think as coaches, we get so many fucking certifications. I mean, the least we can do is like put out programs and make that money back because they're so expensive sometimes.
That's right.
I'm not trying to be cheapo, but I mean, I'm just saying they're expensive. So
They
yeah,
are.
I hope to see
I think
you.
that's when you know you are in it for the long haul, when you're willing to put out that $1,000 for that cert. It's like, shit, I'm gonna do this for life because I don't
Yeah.
have to sell the house to.
Shit. Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm really hoping that you will do something like that in the future. Really, like I could see you doing it. So
Last time we talked, I was supposed to get the football cheerleaders doing Mace, and that never happened. I listened to that podcast today. I'm like, shit, I said that was my goal. I did not crush that goal.
okay, well, crush that one first, and then get the fucking program out because I would purchase it. I'll help you promote it. You already know.
Awesome.
Cool beans. All right. Well, thank you for being here as always. May the universe always flow with you.
And with you.